In a world where...
Is this thing on?
Barely.
This episode of the Just John podcast is brought to you by the random fact that a real human skeleton was used in the 1974 version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre because it was cheaper to purchase one from India than buy a plastic prop. And two of the most amazing patrons on the planet. Find out how you can become a patron of the show by heading on over to justjohnpodcast.com/support. What up, homies? I'm your host, John Medina, and this, my fine ladies and gentlemen, is the Just John Podcast, episode 36 for the week of April 30th. Holy shite, this year is flying by. It feels like Christmas and the holidays and everything was just a couple weeks ago, but it's really already been almost 5 months. Heck, by the time you listen to this, it will probably already be May. It just kind of blows my mind that when you're a kid, days seem like weeks, weeks seem like years, and years, that's just too long. Like, you do not understand what a year even is when you're a kid. But when you're an adult, it all just blurs together, and it seems like it's just flying by. I cannot understand what is happening right now. Like, really, what is going on?
What year is it?
Today on the show, C3POs Red Arm explained, Facebook piggy banks, sweat billboards, and more.
The Force will be with you, always.
Why is C3PO's arm red? Well, in the movie, spoilers. No, not spoilers. I don't even need to say that anymore. It's been out in theaters forever, for 5 months. And it's been out on video for like a month now, so I don't even need to say spoilers about that. But in the movie, C3PO had a red arm, and it was really just brushed by with a quick one-line joke. Actually, I honestly don't even remember how they addressed it. I know that they did, but I can't remember exactly how. But we now have a reason. The recently released one-shot comic Star Wars C3PO #1 talks about C3PO and why he has a red arm when it comes to The Force Awakens. This part's a little bit spoilery, so if you do plan on reading the comic and you haven't read it yet, just fast forward a little bit and skip this section here. The comic explains how C3PO and a group of resistance droids crash land on a planet along with their captive, an RA-7 protocol droid named Omri that belongs to the First Order. All of the humans in this story are dead, but Omri knows the whereabouts of the kidnapped Admiral Akbar, which is who they're looking for, and the droids need to make their way to a nearby distress beacon to relay this information. As they move across the planet, the droids are picked off one by one, each of them sacrificing themselves to save the others. One droid's ripped apart by spice spiders, another one's sucked into an inky black river, and a third is carried away by a swarm of winged insects. C3PO has his arm ripped off by some sort of tentacled beast. During this journey, Omri and C3PO are talking about the nature of droid existence. So, did their fellow droids die simply because they were programmed to? The First Order bot basically calls it the curse of the protocol droids because they're burdened by the extra sentience needed to carry out their duties. If they're supposed to interact with humans, they supposedly have a little bit more of a self-aware nature than other droids because they are programmed to. Omri discusses how his memory and character have been rewritten in the past and how it is troubled by flashes of its previous lives. And C3PO says that he has barely legible memories, rocks, a factory of droids, an arena in the middle of battle, which, pin in it for just a second. That's interesting because this is the first time really that we have heard the new Star Wars storylines, any of them really, relate to the prequel movies. So that's kind of interesting that they're kind of testing the waters with that. Granted that it's in a comic, and so the mass majority of people that follow Star Wars may not actually read the comic or know that that happens, but it does. Okay, so after C3PO talks about his memories, he says that it's a droid's lot in life to be in service of its master. Eventually, all of the droids in this party are dead except for Omri and C3PO. Taking shelter from a downfall of acid rain, only meters away from this distress beacon, Omri volunteers to venture out to the open to activate the device, transferring the location of the kidnapped General Akbar, I think, actually, to C3PO before it dies. The droid steps outside and the rain strips away its body, reveals that it's under its shiny black exterior there was a coating of red paint, tangible proof of one of its past lives. The beacon activates and C3PO is rescued, but the bot takes the dismembered arm for itself in memory of Omri. The last panel in the comic shows C3PO looking out the window of its rescuing ship, looking at the ghosts of all the droids that sacrificed themselves in the mission. In The Force Awakens' final scene, C3PO is shown standing with the rest of the victory party, the bot's once red arm painted gold once more. It would seem that a self-aware protocol droid like C3PO can't hold on to its memories for long. So this is a really, really interesting story arc that they can take in the Star Wars universe about the bots and how they handle the lives of bots, because obviously they're computers, so their memories can be erased and wiped clean. But as we saw with C3PO, sometimes their memories can survive, and it's just a really, really interesting thing that I think is going to have a lot of potential to become other stories that will be really interesting, just because what if someone makes a bot that has memory that can't be erased? How is that going to work? How long would the memory stay intact and different things like that? So I think they have a lot of potential with this.
Every day, the Facebook is making it easier for people to live, cleanse, work, and play.
Hey, Alan. Ready to go kayaking? I'm just finishing up here connecting with my friends.
Communicating with your friends on your computer?
Yeah, I just got the Facebook.
So Facebook is exploring new ways for individual users to profit from their posts on the network. A survey distributed this last week hints at a broad range of ways that users could make money or promote a cause, including a tip jar, branded content, and taking a cut of the ad revenue Facebook earns from posts. The survey also asked users to indicate their interest in a call to action button, a way to let followers make donations, and a sponsor marketplace to match users with advertisers. It's unclear whether Facebook is considering making these options available to all users, because the language in the survey indicated that it was probably going to be targeted towards verified users. At this point in time, Facebook doesn't offer individual users any way to earn money by posting on Facebook. It's allowed publishers to sell advertising inside its fast-loading instant articles format, and Facebook is also testing ads within the suggestions that pop up after you watch a video, sharing money with publishers. Facebook wouldn't be the first social media platform to allow users to profit from their posts. YouTube has been doing a revenue sharing plan since 2007. Twitch, the streaming platform of choice for gamers, lets partners make money through revenue sharing, subscriptions, and merchandise sales. On platforms without partner deals like Twitter and Snapchat, celebrities usually strike sponsored deals to include brands in their posts without explicit permission from the company in question, Twitter or Snapchat. Facebook's interest in monetization comes amid aggressive moves to become the dominant platform for real-time sharing, an area where it's suffered in comparison to Twitter and Snapchat and different apps like that. In January, Facebook unveiled Sports Stadium, which is a hub for real-time discussion of athletic events, which usually is what people use Twitter for. But the company's making an all-out push into live video, which I talked about kind of last week, in an effort to blunt the momentum of Twitter's Periscope app and Snapchat's live stories. Unlike its competitors, Twitter and Snapchat, though, Facebook is paying some publishers to bring their live videos to its platform, and publishers are leaping at this offer. But these options for individual users to make money are especially interesting. At this point in time, social networks have been able to grow massive without paying hardly anything for the content that the users are actually contributing to them. But these new options for generating revenue seem likely to draw more sharing to Facebook, which a couple weeks ago Mark Zuckerberg talked about how he wants people to start sharing more because the amount of people that are sharing stuff has gone down. And so if you start getting paid for sharing these things, then you'll probably start sharing them a lot more, and a lot more people will try to share them, and it will help Facebook grow its overall revenue. The survey also asked users what data about their Facebook presence would be most interesting to them, including data on what percentage of their videos people watched, how many new followers a post generates, and information about how post performance compares to others. Of course, it's just a survey, so Facebook could easily just say, oh, nope, we're not doing that, sorry about you. But I think that this is actually a good idea in some ways. The only problem I can see that's going to happen with this is that somebody, and we already see this happen a lot on social media, somebody posts something extremely funny, like a really good picture, clever picture, and then you see somebody else try to take credit for it. So and you can watermark pictures and different things like that, but there's going to have to be some kind of copyright program that has been initiated before you can start monetizing on posts, because if I make a picture that's funny as hell and I put it on the Just John podcast page, and somebody that has 1 million Facebook followers on their page sees it, likes it, thinks it's funny, figures out how to remove the watermark or whatever I do to try to, protect the image, puts it on their page, or just somehow recreates the picture with, without the watermark and puts it on their page and makes a gajillion dollars off of it, I'm gonna be pissed. Pissed. So it's a good idea, but I think that there's going to have to be a lot of procedures in place to stop that type of situation from happening.
This is against my civil rights.
The sweating billboard. This is actually really cool and really interesting. A new billboard in Brazil has been constructed to aim to attract and kill mosquitoes as part of a campaign launched by 2 different advertising agencies. The mosquito killer billboard, created by Potteroscope and NBS, emits carbon dioxide and a lactic acid solution to mimic human breathing and sweat. Mosquitoes that are lured to the billboard then become trapped inside and eventually die. The whole point of this billboard is to help combat the Zika virus, which is carried by mosquitoes and has spread rapidly across Brazil and Latin America. More than 1.5 million Zika cases have been recorded in Brazil since April of 2015, according to WHO, the World Health Organization. And the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention this month confirmed that the virus can lead to microcephaly, I don't know, whatever, I'm not a doctor. Anyways, it's a condition that causes babies to be born with abnormally small heads. 2 of these billboards have been installed in Rio de Janeiro, and the creators have called on others to install more using the technical specifications that they have published online for free. Now that's really cool, okay? I understand that they could make money from this. And while they might make some money from it just because people see their name and, good publicity is good publicity and can help business out quite a bit. But they are giving the plans out to this for free because they actually kind of care about people. And that's not something that you hear as much about businesses doing. Usually, if they do philanthropy things, there's some kind of reason behind it. And there could be a reason behind this, but it's kind of hard to see at this point. But I just think that that's really cool. There are some people that say there may be some downsides to the sweat billboard, though. Chris Jackson, a pest control expert at the University of Southampton, has been quoted as saying, anything that can be done to reduce the prevalence of the mosquito is a good thing, except that if the mosquito killer billboard could inadvertently cause more people to be bitten, depending on where it's placed. So if it's placed in a high density zone and you've got all of these different mosquitoes coming up to it, they're going to be exposed to people on the way there, right? Because these are metropolitan areas, so you've got people walking around. And the fear is that they're going to get distracted by the people walking around before they actually make it to the billboard, and then increase mosquito bites and increase the chances of the Zika virus going around. I still think it's a fantastic idea, though. And if they could figure out a way to either maybe put it higher up in the air where they're not going to be able to get to people, or put it outside the cities to at least try to curb the amount of mosquitoes that are making it into the cities, I still think it can be successful. And I like this idea a lot.
Don't tase me, bro! Don't tase me!
New Doctor Who companion. When Doctor Who finally returns in 2017, he will have a new companion, because sadly Clara is no longer with us. So who is this companion going to be? It's going to be Bill, and it's going to be played by Pearl Mackie. Now, even though Bill is traditionally a man's name, Bill in this is a female, so we still have a female companion. To be honest, I don't think we will see a standalone male companion until we see a female version of the Doctor. So a lot of people were like, oh, Bill, that's a guy. We've never actually fully had a guy companion. Typically, when there's a male companion involved, he is just a companion of the female companion. But I think we will see a male companion, but I don't think we'll see a male companion until we see a female Doctor. Anyway, so Pearl Mackie, never really heard of her. Looked her up on IMDb, and there is hardly anything. Some movie called Svengali, and a TV series called Doctors. Never seen either of those, never seen her acting chops, but one of the things about Doctor Who for me personally is that I typically don't like the Doctor when they replace him for a few episodes. He kind of has to grow on me, and that's the same with the companions too. I have to scope the companions out, I guess, before I actually start to have an opinion about them. I just automatically don't like them because they're new. And when it comes to TV shows, I know that, they gotta do new things to keep the story going and to keep people watching and stuff, but I'm more resistant to change in TV shows than I am to change in real life, which is super weird, but that's just the way I am. So whatever. I guess I'll get over it. So we'll see how it goes, and when 2017 comes around and Doctor Who makes its return, I'm sure I will review the first episode in some way, shape, or form, or at least talk about how I feel about Bill. Alrighty, we are about halfway through the show, which means it's time to play some music. If you are, or if you know an underground artist that you would like to have featured on the show, you can submit your suggestions at justjohnpodcast.com/song. The song I'm playing today was requested by Dave, the producer of the Unwritable Rant podcast. And the song is called Back Into Your Heart, and it is by Matthew Szlachetka.
Sunlight peeking through the window reflects the highlights in your hair. Breeze blowing through the window, smell of jasmine in the air. Though we left those days behind, you're forever on my mind. If you need to take some time, if you got something to find, I'll be right here waiting for a sign to move back into your heart. If you're out of words to say, and you got to run away, I'll be right here waiting for a sign to move back into your arms. You left on Tuesday morning. Now my Mondays never end. You cut me off without warning. Now I'm missing my best friend. And though you left those days behind, can't get you off my mind. If you need to take some time, if you got something to find,
Again, that song was called Back Into Your Heart by Matthew Szlachetka. And like usual, if you enjoyed the song, you can check out all of his different links in the show notes below.
Hey, can I have a McRib meal? Large size with the Dr. Pepper.
Krypton is coming. Sci-Fi is ready to go back to the Man of Steel's home planet. The cable network is nearing a deal to order the long-gestating Superman prequel Krypton to pilot. Damian Kindler will serve as the showrunner and executive producer on the project, and Colm McCarthy will direct the pilot. It's set 2 generations before the destruction of the titular planet. Krypton will follow Superman's grandfather, whose House of El has been ostracized and shamed as he tries to redeem his family's name and save his world. Executive producer David Goyer, who wrote Man of Steel and co-wrote Batman v Superman, has been developing Krypton since 2014, and he penned the pilot with Ian Goldberg. I think this is awesome, and I'm so excited. You know what? For whatever you can say about the DC cinematic universe and the movies that they make, while they may not be the best, 9 times out of 10, their TV shows rock. DC has great TV. They make great TV. And I love another one. And I really, really love that not only are they kind of branching away from following the story of mainstream heroes, but they're just literally, Superman cannot be in this TV show. Well, I guess they could flash forward or whatever, but the majority of this TV show is on Krypton. Yes, it follows Superman's family, but that's not a big deal because it follows they have so much, well, not so much freedom, but they have a lot of freedom, and I just think it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it, and I really hope that Sci-Fi does a great job. People always talk trash about Sci-Fi, the network, but I'll tell you what, Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, and, Stargate Universe SGU wasn't the best, so I'll give them that. But Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis were fantastic shows, and those were Sci-Fi. So I know that Sci-Fi has the ability to make really good shows. I've liked some other ones. Helix was okay. I'm pretty sure it got canceled. And The Expanse is really good, which is current. And so Sci-Fi does have the ability to make good shows. So I'm excited and I can't wait, and I hope that this becomes something.
The local news of the week.
Google startups. Google has a plan to retain some of its top talent. The company is looking into starting an in-house startup incubator known internally as Area 120. The plan is to allow entrepreneurial Googlers and their teams develop their ideas with Google's support and funding, and potentially branch out with Google as an investor. Executives Don Harrison and Bradley Horowitz will reportedly manage the incubator, and details on the effort are really, really thin right now, but some sources say that the team will be able to work within the incubator full-time after drafting up a business plan. After several months, teams can strike out on their own as a whole new company. Google hopes that this incubator will stem the flow of talent to competing companies. For instance, the company just lost Regina Dungan, the powerful former head of the Advanced Technologies and Project Group that developed tech like Project Tango, to Facebook earlier in April. So basically what Google is saying is that we don't want you to take your ideas to another company. And we understand that you may not want to put all of your ideas solely into Google's hands. So what we're going to do is we are going to help you with your startup, give you some money in exchange for a percentage stake in your company. And this is really, really good because it can help Google generate extra revenue, keep these employees from going to competitors, and even if maybe in 10 years these companies become partly Google's competitors, they'll own a percentage stake in them, which will kind of help hedge the loss of money if their competitor makes this potential competitor makes something better than Google makes. I think it's a good idea, and I actually think it's really, really cool that Google is basically saying, take your ideas, take our money, make your company, we'll own a little bit of it, but Google won't own a majority stake in it, so they won't actually be able to make any of the big decisions. They may have a say in some things if it becomes a public company, etc., but overall it's still going to be the person that started it, the person that came up with the ideas company. So I just think that's really cool, and it just goes to show how innovative Google is in terms of an employer, and that's a reason why it ranks so high on the places to work list every year, because they do a lot of cool stuff for their employees and a lot of cool things, and I think that they are better for it. I think that's why Google has done so well, because happy employees do happy work, right? You can't even argue with it, because obviously it's true. If you can go to work in your pajamas and take a nap at 2 o'clock in the afternoon after going to the masseuse at work, then you're much more willing to stay till 8, 9, or 10 o'clock at night, burning that midnight oil to get a project done by the deadline. The proof is in the pudding, folks.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
All right, we are getting ready to come to the end of the show, but as is tradition, I have an app review to do. The app that I'm reviewing this week is the official Reddit app. It came out a couple weeks ago, and I've been testing it ever since just to make sure that I can really get a feel for this application, and man, is it slick. They did a really, really good job at developing this app. When you first open it, it's kind of got a home page that just has some of the popular things on Reddit, kind of like the website does. You can go to your settings, you can look at your front page, you can customize your front page, you can go to different things that you're subscribing to, you can see the threads that you're moderating, you can also search for any Reddit thread within the app, comment, and create your own new thread through the app. It's good. There's a compact view, there's a card view. Both of them look good. I prefer the card view. You can also change your settings for night mode so that everything looks a little darker and it's not as hard on your eyes. And then if you've got day mode, everything's a lot brighter. And there's not a whole lot to say about the app because it is pretty basic, but it's a good app. I do like it a lot. And I had been struggling to find a decent Reddit app on Android because it was just, the options were pretty duty trash. So I would just have to wait and use my PC or whatever. But this app, A++, man, it's good. So if you like Reddit, or if you've heard about Reddit, but you've been hesitant to jump onto Reddit because there was no easy mobile version of it, jump onto Reddit, the Reddit app. Grab it and explore a little bit, because you can find some good stuff in Reddit. But if you have not ever been on Reddit, I do want to give you a little public service announcement. It is troll city 99% of the time. Reddit is full of a lot of trolls, but you can find some good information and some good advice on different things on Reddit. So go ahead and download it, try it out, and see what you think. If you enjoyed the show, please show me some love by liking, thumbs up, subscribing, sharing, rating, reviewing, retweeting, or whatever it is that's used to symbolize love in the show on the platform you're using to view it. You can follow me on Twitter at JohnnyM_Revo and at Facebook.com/JustJohnPodcast. You can find the show in its entirety at JustJohnPodcast.com, and you can listen to the show on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker, or some other shit. You can email me at JustJohnPodcast@gmail.com. And remember, without you, I'm just some dude talking to himself on the internet. Until next time, peace out, fam.